So today we're going to walk through activity 2.5, the CAD modeling skills, and we're going to go ahead and draw this object right here. We're going to do that together in Fusion, and then you'll finish it up on your own. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to create a sketch on this front face. We're going to use the rectangle tool, but we're going to actually use the center rectangle. So click on that tool. We're going to click the center on the origin, bring the rectangle out, and then we need to dimension it. So the height of the rectangle in the documentation says that it is 4 inches, and then the width says that it is 6. All right, now if you notice all the lines are black, so it is fully constrained. Now we're going to use the polygon tool, because up in the upper right we have a hexagon. So if I click on create, go down to polygon, we're going to use either one of these is fine. I'm going to click first to start the center, and yes, I'm making sure that there are 6 sides, and I'm going to click to make it stay, but I need to do a few things. I need to dimension it. So from here to the center, that dimension needs to be 0.25 from the drawings. And the other thing we need to do is we need to make this side parallel to this side. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Here's a parallel tool. We're going to make, we're actually make it perpendicular, sorry. And I can tell by looking at the drawing right here. And if I check out that little T symbol right there, that's saying that this side of the polygon or hexagon is perpendicular to the dashed line of the rectangle. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to go ahead and change to the perpendicular tool, and I'm going to click on this edge, and I'm going to click on that. And if you notice, now it just made it perpendicular. Okay. The other dimension we're going to add, just to fully constrain it, because if you notice it's not, is the height. So from here to the center of there, and we want that dimension to be 0.5, and I'm going to click on enter, and now if you notice it's all black. Okay. All right, now we're actually going to draw a vertical construction line. So I'm going to click on vertical, but I'm going to go over here to this window right here. Yours might be suppressed, so just click on those double arrows, and then you're going to change the line type to a construction. So click on that, and I'm going to draw a construction line from the midpoint that goes through the center all the way to the other side. Okay, and if you notice, it's dashed. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and click on the polygon tool again, but this time we are going to create a pentagon. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to change the number of sides here to 5. And then I'm going to go ahead and click to make it stay. And now we're going to use a few constraints. We're going to use coincident, which we're going to make the top of this polygon line up with that vertical line, and if you notice, that rotated it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add dimensions. Our first dimension is going to go from this center to this bottom edge, and actually I'm not going to do the center. I'm going to create another construction line that goes from here to here. Partly because when we add the dimensions to points from another point, sometimes it can still allow for rotation, and we don't want that. So click on this construction line, and now this one, and that distance we want to be is 1/2 inch. And then the next dimension we need is from this edge or corner or vertice to the here, and that dimension we want to be, make sure it's at an angle like this, because then it's really showing kind of like the distance from the center to the vertice. It's going to be 0.35. Okay, and now that is all black, but if you notice, our polygon is dashed, so I'm going to have to go here, go over to our polygon, do that polygon again, turn the construction off. I'm going to start at the center, and then make sure I change the sides to 5. And then I can go ahead and make sure it is all lined up. And then there you go. And then we will even, let's see if I can make it coincident, this dashed line with the line, or even collinear. It's right here, so we're going to make that dash line line up with the other one. And now if you notice when I made them collinear, it also made that polygon, the lines of it all black, which means it's fully constrained. Okay, the next one we're going to do is a circle, and that circle is about somewhere here. I'm going to click to make it stay, use my dimension, dimension it. The diameter is 0.5. Okay, and the next thing we also need to dimension is the distance from the center to the center, and that distance is going to be 1.75. Okay, and then the other thing we need to do is there is a tangent symbol, which is a line in a circle, looks like this, and we need to click on this outside of the circle and then click on that dash line. And if you know, it moved it out, made it tangent at one point, and now the lines are all black. Okay, and then the last one you need to do is a triangle. So again, go down here, polygon, polygon. It is going to be down here along this line, so I'm going to place the center point on the line, but I need to change the sides to 3. And I'm just going to draw a line, or click to make it stay, and now I'm going to add my constraints. So one of them is the distance of one length of this triangle, which really is all the lengths. And make sure the dimension line is parallel. It should be 1.25. Okay. Now the next thing is we want coincident. We want this point to be on this line. Okay, but then we also want this point to line up with that corner vertice. Okay, so there were 2 there. All right, now if you notice the triangle is all black, so now that is good. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead, I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to save the file name as activity 2.5 part 2. And we're going to label it patterns, because what we are going to do now is we are going to add the patterns now that this is fully constrained. Okay, and we're going to use 2 pattern tools. So it's underneath create. Remember, we haven't hit finish sketch or anything. We're still in that one sketch. Go down here to circular patterns and rectangular patterns. The first one we are going to do is using the circular pattern. So circular pattern, click on that. The object we want to move in a circle is going to be this one, but actually before we do that, we need to draw a circle. It's going to be a construction circle, meaning it's just going to be there so that we can use the constructed. So I'm going to click on the circle, make it go around, and click on that edge so that it lines up just like that. Now we're going to go back to our circular pattern. We want to click on all sides of this pentagon because that's the object that we want to go in a circle. The center point, or the circle we want it to rotate about, is here. And we actually, if you look at the drawing, we don't want 3 of them, we want a total of 5 of them. And it does evenly distribute them because we said the distribution is full, which means it goes all the way around. So that looks good. Click on OK. And for some reason it didn't click on those, probably because I clicked on the dash line. So I'm just going to go through really quick, deselect construction line, and I'm just going to add those points. Make sure that they are solid lines, not those dashed, just to complete those pentagons. And then I'm going to do it here. Computer's catching up. And then from here to here. And again, that's just because it copied the construction lines instead of the object lines of the pentagon. And our final one. And then there you go. There is our pattern tool with our 5 pentagons. The next pattern we're going to do, you're going to have to do it on your own for the triangle because it's just going to have one direction going this way, but we're going to do it on this one. So what we are going to do next is we are going to go ahead and click on create. We're going to use the rectangular pattern tool. The object we want to repeat is this hexagon, so I'm going to click on all the sides. okay? And then the first direction we want it to go in is here. And yes, we do want 3 of them, okay? And so we're going to pull this out and kind of evenly space them about. It doesn't have an exact dimension, so as long as they're evenly spaced, that's fine. Some of you guys will have a slight angle here. Some of you guys would have made this line parallel to that. Either way is fine. So there's one direction, but then we now need to go in the second direction. So in order to do that, we are going to go ahead and click on, there should be another option for 2 different directions, but it's not letting us right now, so that's not a big deal. So I'm going to click on OK. So I'm going to click on here, go back to rectangular pattern again. We want this right here, and oops, don't want that one, and this line, and then we also want this one. And remember, we only want to repeat these 2, okay? The direction we want it to go in is here, okay? And we only want 2 of them, okay? So I'm now going to pull this way, and there are 2, and click OK. So for the pattern tool for the triangle, you're just going to click on this line being the direction, because they're all going to be going back that way. And you're going to have to count how many triangles there are in order to add that one. And then follow the rest of the directions.